the best thing for your work ethic is to have a rest ethic.
Yes, actually, that's one I've started.
Right.
Something along the lines of the key to a great work ethic is having a great rest ethic.
So this idea of, I think, goofing off, wasting time, sabbaticals, Sabbaths, taking a Sabbath, are all essential to the creative life. They're just absolute. It's almost like sleep. You just have to do it. And it does it by rejuvenating you and shifting your perspective, by releasing you from, I mean, there's just so many things that it works on. And most, I think, for me, in my own experience, the best things that I've done came after, shifting. It's like the clutch. When you're shifting, you want to put the clutch in, right? Otherwise, you're just going to grind. So I think it's really valuable. And again, not just like every 7 years, which is a technical sabbatical, but like Sabbaths, like vacations. But more importantly, time off and goofing off. And I find that the young people, believe it or not, the ones that I am associated with, don't goof off enough. They go right from college and their first job, and it's like, no, don't. There were people at Wired that came right from college, and after 7 years, they were still there. It's like, I sit down, like, why are you here? You should not be here. When was the last time you goofed off or wasted time?
Yeah.
And so no, I'm a big believer.
I can imagine the rest of management must have loved that.
I was the management.
No, were you the only management? Anyway, we don't have to belabor the point. I'm just imagining. Why did 7 people quit last week? They've been talking to that Kelly.
So I think it's essential. And so your question of like, well, this is why I love you. It's like, give me some practical stuff about how to take a sabbatical.
Or just what might it look like, right? For someone who, let's personalize it. Like for me, what might a sabbatical look like? What would you consider the sort of minimal viable duration, and like what would make it a sabbatical versus me just being in a foreign locale thinking about the usual stuff? So
it's interesting because my wife's, both of her companies she was at Genentech for 30 years and she's at 23andMe now. Well, Genentech had a sabbatical program, an official one. It was 6 weeks every 6 years, which is basically a European vacation.
Yeah, right.
An annual vacation. So I think 6 weeks is probably, like, for me, like the minimum for a sabbatical. But man, it could be very effective in 6 weeks. For me, like doing art is something I like. In the old days, you used to have to, like, professors would get sabbaticals and they would do their own project that they were working on, or go to a school somewhere, or have a visiting appointment. Travel is a very, very common one. For you, I think, your effort right now to work in animation and stuff, I guess the general pattern is you want something that's different in the structure and rhythm from what you normally do. And so our temptation, those of us who like to make things, is to make something different. But that's not really a sabbatical. We're kind of in the same rhythm. We're learning. And so it's sort of like you want to go in a different direction. And I did a sabbatical once where I just read books. And it was like, literally, that's all I'm going to do. I'm going to get up in the morning, I'm going to read books, and I'm not going to do anything else. And that was really different from my normal behavior, but incredibly powerful. And by the end, I went to travel because I had to, it just like blew my gas because I had to go. But that sabbatical of like only reading books and reading books all day long, and I could read almost like about an average of about a book a day, because some books are really short and some were really long. But the synapse associations that you get from reading book after book after book, you begin to think that they're all talking to each other, the authors. Yeah. It's like, they're talking about the same thing. They must have known about each other. It's impossible. But you have this sense of this all knitting together. Yeah, saturation. So I think the recipe is to have a different rhythm and a different mode than you normally have.